I never believed in the intentional photograph, but even within these intentional portraits, I found a way to capture the volunteers in the most non-intentional moment, when they were looking at me instead of the camera lens, when their eyes conveyed a moment of truth that was first revealed in their voices during the hours of audio recordings. A moment when a stranger can look at their portraits, listen to their voices, their stories, and maybe find someone not so different from themselves. A moment when a soldier of any war might identify with a familiar tribe. My knowledge of the fine arts and technique isn't a strong point. It doesn't enter the text of artist statements I'm required to write for exhibitions, the wording of grant applications, or pitches for publication where the process of making art is a critical factor. Even my studio situation in Ukraine, where I capture their portraits after recording their stories, isn't a studio. Just a black blanket draped inside flats all over Kyiv, hung with double-sided tape or roped onto old Soviet-era lamps or hooked onto random sharp objects in warehouses or bunkers in the Donbas, or even tied in between two forest trees on the front line. Some photo editors reviewing my work critiqued my use of the flash by the lack of consistency in the white balance. The tones always varied depending on my location and the tone of natural ambient light coming through that day. The same kind of photo editors skipped over the excerpts from the volunteers' audio stories. Because the volunteers, the war in Ukraine, it just wasn't timely or relevant for them to publish or to award American grant money. These soldiers weren't a trending headline. They weren't fast-paced news, and I wasn't on assignment. When I started the project in 2018, I didn't have a posting to recruit participants. There wasn't exactly a set of criteria they had to meet, only that they had to be part of the 2014 movement, and I preferred not to interview commanders, highly published heroes, or people who wrote to me asking to be part of the project. It wasn't because I didn't think they had a story to tell. It was just too intentional, too predictable, too much of an assumption about what I was trying to capture. They didn't realize that one day I'd cross the border and interview the other side. One day I'd interview veterans of all wars, because the story wasn't only about preserving the volunteers and what it meant to fight for freedom. It wasn't only about educating the world about the present, showing that there was still a war in Ukraine and that there were people still fighting for independence in the 21st century. I was searching for a story that could one day be stripped of flags, uniforms, borders, and country. A universal story of the combat veteran.